So here we are at the next stop, Donington Services. We've got to wait here now for another truck come. Yes sir, good times. Bugjam. Bugjam. And it's raining. Well, it's spitting. Well, yeah, we're just about set off. Someone's peeping at him with the caravan, no doubt. Join back when we're on the road. First stop, just at the end of the A50, not far until we get on the M1. This is where we always normally stop, just put some fuel in. So we'll top up fuel, have a drink, and then we'll hit the M1. Everything's alright so far. I've wired up the second fan. Believe it or not, this fan, the car's had two fans on it since it was put together, and only one of them has ever worked. And it's done everything it's done with one fan. So I went with Dad's, I think it was Saturday or Sunday. I think it was, Sunday night. And I traced the wiring from one, well, I got in the fuel tech first and went into the outputs. Did a test on fan number 2. Nothing. Got nothing going to fan number 2. So we ran a wire. Well, what I noticed was there was no output allocated for fan number 2 to begin with. So I'm doing a test on it and it's not actually doing anything. So I've gone into the outputs, allocated fan 2, tested it again, nothing. So I've ran a wire from yellow output 2 to the relay, where there is already an output wire going on to the relay for fan 2. And the fan works using the test function. So what I've done is, I've done a new wire all the way around, wrapped it, took it all the way across the chassis and up into the relay that operates the second fan. So now we've actually got two fans working. They're staggered, so one fan will come on at a certain temperature which is lower than the second fan, so the second fan will kick in if it needs to. If the fan number 1 needs backup, then yeah. But we're in traffic just at the Utoxeter, just coming past Utoxeter Services. They're doing some road works, it's filtering down to one lane, so it was pretty congested, and temp was staying absolutely lovely in that traffic. So fan 2 definitely helps. But anyway, we'll probably check back when we get there now. We're currently waiting for a low loader at the end of the A50. So after that last fuel stop, everything was sweet. Drove off, probably got half a mile up the road, felt a bit of a wobble. So we pulled over, took the bonnet off, checked all the rear end, give the front end a wobble on both wheels. Couldn't really feel anything, so put the bonnet back on, carried on, and then all of a sudden, boom, we felt something. I was like, right, get to the side of the road, we need to stop, something's not right. As soon as I swung the door open at the side of the road, obviously there's no hard shoulder, so we're at the very end of a slit road here on the A50. As soon as I swung the door open, we got smoke coming from the passenger side front caliper. So basically what had happened is one of the nuts on the back of the stub axle had backed off, allowing it to move on the front side, which then made the wheel go a little bit cambered, and the disc was hitting the caliper. So that had superheated everything, in such a small space of time as well. So Trudy spun back round, come back, give us some tools. We got the front of the car jacked up. I've managed to get that nut tightened back up, but I think it had melted the dust seal on the front. I don't know if the bearings are okay or not. I tightened it to like 200 foot-pound, and it was a little bit iffy, to be honest. So basically, we're not going to risk it. We have got another bearing with us. We thought of a few things. I says, can we go to Graham's and swap the bearing? But then it's whether we're going to need a press or something to get the stub axle back out, which he might not have. And then I thought, can we go Graham's and see if Graham would put the car on a trailer? But at this point, we weren't sure where Graham was or what Graham was doing. So we know he's going the pod. So we didn't really want to invade on his plans. So we just rang the RAC. We've got a bearing with us, like I say, so when we get pod we can sort it. Well, it's one of them things, isn't it? But I will probably get some footage when the car's going on this flatbed. We've had one turn up, but it was like a van. It was like a beaver tail van, which the bed rolls back and then drops down, but the angle would have been too much. The car won't go on it without ripping bumpers off, and we aren't doing that. So I think there's a 7.5 ton wagon coming now with a drop bed. So it was probably about 20 minutes ago they called and said I'm about 30 minutes away. They're at junction 28, we're at like junction 24. So yeah, Highways came and moved us off the A50 and put us on the hard shoulder on the M1 North exit at the end of the A50. So that's where we are currently, in just a bit of a hard shoulder. We've probably been here for 2 hours or more. So yeah, the next footage you'll see will be the car getting on a low loader, and then we will finally be on the way to Santapod, where we should already be and probably set up by now as well. But like I say, it's one of them things, nothing we can do about it. This is, I mean, it doesn't happen often to us, does it? We don't really have any problems that we can't sort, and we've not really not made it anywhere, so we can't complain about it. But there's talks about now changing all the front suspension setup, so hubs, front shocks, which it needs anyway because we've got no front shock control, so that'll help us just to something that's more easy to obtain parts for if you need to. I don't know which route we'll go, whether it'll be something off, you know, a more modern car that you can walk into a Motor Factors and buy stuff for on the shelf, or whether it'll be something like a strange front setup. I'm not sure. We'll see. But anyway, let's have a look at this wagon. Right, so we're going to drive it onto the recovery truck now, but it turns out he's only taking us to Donington, and then we're going to get dropped off and get picked up again. So yeah, for some reason they're only dropping us at Donington, and then we've got to wait for another truck to get to Santapod, so it's looking like it could be a late night. Truck number 2's just arrived. This is his ride to Santapod. He drive it on the truck. It's this wheel bearing this side here. It's not too clever. And now we're on his way to Santapod once he's strapped it up. Turn this power off. Well, she's made it. We got here about half an hour, 40 minutes ago. We're not going to touch it tonight, we'll do it in the morning. But basically what had happened was the nut on the back of the stub axle, it's got like a 34mm nut on the back side. It had backed off ever so slightly, not all the way, but enough for just allow it to pull out slightly and just kick it. And you can see from the disc where it was rubbing on the caliper. It's in bits. Bearing collapsed.
Brand new bearings though.
Brand spanking new bearing. So this is where we're at. Mark lent his ramps very kindly, so we could knock the bearing out. But now we're wondering what to do about this stub axle, because there's still a bearing race on there. And as you can see, that again come off very easy with the end of it looking like that. So we're just wondering if it's worth going over to John Webster and just seeing if he'd put this on a lathe and just clean it. Unsure yet. Yeah, but he'd take the measurement from what's already there and then just spin it so it's the same all the way. He'd only spin off the rough bit. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Good boy. Gives paw. You want to give paw? You bloody dope. You got your leg caught now, haven't you? Come here, you got it all wrapped around your leg. Here, look, it's around your paw. Come here. So the bearings are in. We've just got the stub axle now in the freezer, so we can drop it through nice and easy hopefully, and then we'll build it back up. I didn't film much at Webster's because obviously customer cars and stuff in there, I didn't really want to intrude, so but yeah, he sorted us out, cleaned up the stub axle. He had to push the studs out so he could get it on the lathe, and then I think he just used a bit of emery cloth while it was spun up on the lathe, but it worked a treat. So yeah, we're pretty much ready to build it back up. All fixed, back together. So you take it for a little run up and down, and then all we got to do is put the race wheels and tyres on, that's it. Put some E85 in it. Looks a lot better, that wheel there now though. Had some pretty serious negative camber when we got here.
open their accounts for the weekend. Bugjam here, one of our VW sports races with the sand. Eliminator.
So Trude's just had a pass, 10.2 at 143. 10.2, 143.
Checking button all the way.
She was on and off the throttle all the way down, short shifted it on both gears, and the CO2 was off, so the boost control wasn't on. It is 2:30 Saturday. We should have been out by now for Q1. We've had some rain showers, not bad rain, but just some little showers that keep coming, stopping, then they'll come again, stop. It's looking like it's starting to brighten up. It's kind of coming this way. It's like it's brightening up now, so hopefully we'll get the track dry soon and we'll be out for Q1. Some new cars here, Davey Murdoch's here. This Mustang as well. Nice thing this is. All carbon fibre. So yeah, I've not done much videoing really. I might get some tonight from down the fair. Right, so we're wearing number 2 for a short while. Turns out we've ended up in number 4. Joe Baxter, 753, 196. That's rocking, boy.
Victoria there, she didn't look scared. I think someone went on with the car. I think someone went on with the car.
Sorry about that. Why is it with you? Yeah, so it just nibbled the drive shaft at 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds into the run and pulled 8 degrees of timing. So what I've done is I've left the bottom part there alone, boost curve wise. I've given it another 50 on the leave because the initial leave was sweet. And then from 2 seconds to the peak of the boost curve, I've given it half a pound, which has resulted in the boost curve coming back where it peaks slightly as well. I've moved the drive shaft retard window up on the lower end, well, entirely up, the whole window up 25 RPM, just in case it was on a mission and it was just touching the 792 drive shaft curve, because that's what I've used for do this window, the 792 from last year. So if it's touched that and it was on a mission, that's why it's pulled the timing. If it was spinning the wheel, then that's why it pulled the timing, but it was hard to say either, so I've not raised it too much, just 25 RPM, just to pick it up a little bit, just to see what happens on this next one. Q2 777 at the 1200 foot mark, and that was around about the area that his throttle cable come off. We've just took the bonnet off, and that's what we're looking at. We're gonna have to sort that. Right, we'll fix it and we'll try go again. Fuck.
Joe?
Right, we're not stopping. I can't stop. Right, get ready on the brake. Okay.
I thought it was Tom. What was having Tom?
Against Nigel, but we've got no boost control. One of the valves on the fuel, the boost control block has gone dead, so we're on wastegate.
Well, Davey's on the verge of getting into the sevens. He went 8.10 in his first round. But Almac went 7.47. Build on the boost, bump him in. Oof. Both of them suffering wheel spin. Matt gathers it up, goes 793 at 185. David just coasting at the stripe, but quite a few boxes ticked this weekend for David. A best of 810 at 177. All right, your last pair then. Tony Higgs, the certifiable nutter himself, with the Capri. He's already been over 200. He's been in the 7.3s this weekend. Rob Slater. 8.11 in round one. He qualified with 8.03. He's going to need to be well into the 7s here to have something to threaten Tony Higgs with.
Unfortunately, big tyre spin for Robert Slater, so all eyes are on Tony. 748, 201 miles an hour. Also, can we have VW Sportsman to the pairing lanes? VW Sportsman, make your way to the pairing lanes, please.
So, semi-finals in Street Eliminator.
Well, that's it for Bugjam. Draining the E85 out, put pump fuel in, put the street tyres on, pack up and drive home. Just as you've just seen, it blew the tyres clean away.